people, welcome back to today's tutorial. This is IRO stitches. To my returning subscribers, I say a very big thank you very much. And those of you that are stopping by for the first time, please don't leave without subscribing to my channel, and feel free to share my videos, like, comment and share, please. So today in our tutorial, without wasting much of our time, we are going to learn how to make IRO and BUBA. So the IRO and BUBA I'm going to make today will not be that long. I don't want the sleeve to be very long. So if you want your own to be very long, you measure to where you want the sleeve to get to. But mine, I would like it to get to where this, what I'm wearing is, or a little bit higher. So I don't want, so I'm going to measure. For you to get the measurement, you measure from the center of your neck to where you want your sleeve to get to. That's how to get the measurements. So now we are going to our cutting table to know how to cut our modern IRO and BUBA fitted one, not those big ones that our mommies used to wear. So let's go to the cutting table. So this is the fabrics we are going to use for the tutorial. So I'm going to cut out the wrapper first. So my wrapper, I'm going to use 2 yards and 16 inches. You can make use of 2 yards and 6 inches depending on how big you are or how small you are. So like me, I'm using, my hip is hip of 15 inches, so I'm making use of 2 yards and 16 inches from my wrapper. So my folding in of the side of my wrapper, the side this way, I want it to be big, the folding in to be like about 2.5 of an inch, 2.5 inches. So it will be somehow wide like this. So because I'm using 2.5 inches here, and the other side I'll also be using 2.5 inches, that makes it 5 inches. So I'm going to add 5 inches to that, my 16 inches. That will be 21 inches. So what I'm going to cut out now is 2 yards and 21 inches for my wrapper. So this is my 2 yards and 21 inches. I've cut it out. So this is 1 yard, this is the second yard, and this is the 21 inches. So I'm going to keep this aside now. Then, so we are going to cut the upper part, the blouse of it. So I've got the length of my blouse, the top is 26 inches. But I'm going to put 1.5 inches to it for the folding in of the down of the top. So that means 27 inches. Meanwhile, what I use to determine how many inches I put on fold will be the higher circumference of your body. And the higher circumference of my body is my hip, which is 50 inches. My bust is 42 inches, while my waist is 38 inches. So the bigger circumference is my hip, 50 inches. When I divide it by 4, it will give me 12.5 of an inch. 12.5 inches. But I don't want the BUBA to be very big, so I'm adding only ½ inch for ease. If you want it to be very big, you can add 1 inch or 2 inches, but I'm adding only half. I want it to be a little bit fitted on my body. So that means 13 inches. Then I will add 1 inch for my seam allowance. That makes it 14 inches. So I'm going to use 14 inches to put on fold. But the length of my this thing is 27 inches plus 1.5 inches. So now I'm going to cut out, measure the 27 inches into 2. Why I'm measuring it into 2 is because the BUBA, we don't fold we don't sew the shoulder. The shoulder is going to be on fold. So we don't, so that means I'm going to put it on fold and it will not have any joining at the shoulder. So I'm measuring the 27.5 inches into 2 because I will fold it into 2. That is what I will use to cut out the fabrics I'm using for my BUBA now. 27.5 inches. So I'm going to cut it out now. So I've cut it out 27.5 inch into 2. So I'm going to put it on fold this way, on fold of 2. Then I'll also put it on fold this way to make it 4 folding. So I put it into 4 foldings now. So now the sleeve length I'm using 26 inches for my sleeve length. I want you to get to somewhere here where this one I'm wearing is. So I don't want it to be too long. If you want your own to be too long, you measure from the center of your neckline down to where you want the sleeve to get to. But mine, I want it to be somewhere here. So I'm going to input the body measurement here. Then I will cut it as a straight line this way. So what I input at the hip is what I'm going to input at the shoulder also. Then after, we now cut the complementing shoulder, the sleeve length, to get the 26 sleeve length we are working with. Like I said earlier, the hip measurement I'm working with is 50 divided by 4, 12.5 plus half inch for ease, that is 13 inches, then plus 1 inch for seam allowance. So I'm measuring 14 inches now. This is my 14 inches. I'll measure it till the down part of the dress. So I have to connect the points because I'm going to cut it out. So I'm going to cut this out now. To input my neckline. So the neck width I'm working with 3.5 inches. I don't want it to be too wide. You can use 4 inches or 4.5 inches if you want your own to be wide. And the depth I'm working with, I'm using 5 inches for my depth. For the neck depth, 5 inches. So I'm going to connect the 5 inches point now and curve my neckline. I want it to be a round neckline, so I'm just so this is my neckline now. I'm going to cut it out. Both the front and the back neckline are the same. If you want yours to be wider than this, you can increase the neck width. So this is the neckline now. So now I'm going to measure. Remember I said my sleeve length is going to be 26 inches and I have 14 inches here already. So I'm going to measure 14 inches, 26 inches minus 14 is remaining 12 inches. So I'm going to measure the 12 inches and cut it out to complement my sleeve. But before that, I'm going to get my armhole. I'm using 10 inches for my armhole. This is my 10 inches here for my armhole, and I'm going to give it a slight notch, very slight notch, because I don't want it to eat into my seam allowance. So this is my distance. So that means my sleeve depth that I'm going to cut now is going to be 10 inches plus half inch seam allowance. That's 10.5 inches depth. But the length will be 12 inches plus 1.5 or 2.5 inches folding allowance. That will be 14.5 inches. That's what I'm going to cut out now. So I've cut out the sleeve. This is the sleeve. Remember, this is our BUBA. the up is not joining. So the sleeve also, you are not joining the up. So the folded side of the sleeve will correspond with the folded side of the up. So at the end of the day, this is what we are going to have as our sleeve by the time we are done joining and sewing. I hope you are seeing it how it is. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hem my, remember I added 2.5 inches. I'm going to measure my 2.5 inches that I added on the sleeve. So I will fold it in this way to the wrong side. I will measure my 2.5 inches I added for the sleeve. So this is the 2.5 inches. You can use your iron to iron it down to if you are a beginner, but me, I can go with this. I can fold in 1/4 inch here like this and sew. So my folding will be wide. That's what I want for my folding. I will do it on the 2 sleeves. Then I will close the sleeve with 1/2 inch. That's for the sleeve. Then as for this, my bubu, now I'm going to, from this place that I notch, you know, this is where my opening, sleeve opening stop, armhole stop. My armhole stops here, this notch. So I'm going to sew this side with 1/2 inch. I'm sewing till I get to like 5 inches to the end. I will stop. So that 5 inches to the end, when I stop, I will fold in 1/4 inch and also fold in another one this way to close it to that 5 where I stopped, to fold it so that I will conceal these rough edges. Then the down part, you know, I added 1.5 inches for my folding in. So I'm going to also fold in my 1.5 inches this way. By the time I fold in this way to the wrong side, I will now fold in 1/4 inch and hem my down part. That's what I'm going to do now for the sleeve and for the body. So I'm done joining my bubu. See, I folded the 5 inches before the end I left. See, I folded the side and also folded it down. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to attach the sleeve to it and also use bias to turn my neckline. So this is my sleeve. You can see I've also folded it in. I have sewn it. So I will turn my sleeve to the right side now. So I've turned the sleeve to the right side. This is the wrong side of my bubu, and this is the right side of my sleeve. I will just open the right side. This is the right side, and I will stuff my sleeve inside of it. Then I will make sure that my joining allowance of my sleeve corresponds with the seam line of my bubu. I will match it together. Know that the up part of my sleeve is not joined. See, it is not joined. So I match it together, make sure that it corresponds, see it, then I will sew it round with my 1/2 inch seam allowance. I will also do the same to this side of the sleeve. Then I will turn my neckline with bias and our bubu will be ready. And this brings us to the end of this tutorial. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like my videos, comment if the videos the tutorial is not clear, drop your comment, and also share my videos in your pages, in your groups, to your friends to support me. Thank you and God bless you. See you in the next tutorial. Bye.